But welcome to our Sunday night weekly or bi-weekly team call. And if you guys don't know me, my name is Sammy Glonick, and I'm the CEO of Team Better For It. So if you haven't signed up with me, your upline signed up with me, or your upline's upline, your grandma coach, whatever you want to call me, I am somewhere up there. So really excited to talk to you tonight about somebody who has been inspiring the shit out of me this year in this business, and her name is Kelsey Hill, and I'm going to tell you some stats about Kelsey. I just got to brainstorm with her a couple weeks back, and you guys are going to friggin' love her. She is a Potterhead. If you guys are a Potterhead, of course, Gryffindor. Love it, love it, love it. She has been coaching for about a year and 10 months. So she's already a 7-star diamond coach, which means she has on the minimum 7 diamond coaches underneath her, guys. That's freaking insane. She's in the top 20 of the network right now. If I'm not mistaken, she's 23 or 24 years old. I forgot what she told me. So she's a friggin' badass. She is an elite 2019 coach. So she is about one of 200 coaches that hit elite last year with their team. That means that not only is she succeeding, she is getting her team to succeed. And I know you guys know this, but about 7 people are qualified to be an elite 2020 coach. She is one of them. So not only has she been slaying this year, she is always consistently one of the top recruiters in the whole entire network. She is adorable. I'm just going to keep talking her out because I freaking love her. I'm going to just let her take it away and tell her spiel because you'd much rather hear from her. But there you go, sister. Oh, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, there we go. There we go.
I didn't unmute myself. Typical life. I'm obsessed with you. Thank you so much. That was like amazing. I just want you guys, I am like sunburnt really bad, so just don't judge me, and I look like a homeless person. So after this, I'm watching Game of Thrones, and you know, that's what my life is going to consist of. But I'm so excited to talk to you guys tonight. I have a little presentation for you guys, so I'm going to get that going. If I can figure it out, okay, I hope it doesn't, I think it works. Is it working? Can you guys see it? Yes? Perfect. Okay. So first of all, you guys, I want to tell you a little bit about my story and just like my background. You guys kind of have heard a little bit already. So I started coaching around like a year and 10 months ago. I was working full-time in retail, so it was my senior year of college, so I was also going to school full-time. I was a manager in retail, and I was a mess, like the epitome of a mess. I was broke. I was living in my mom's basement. I was in the worst like shape of my life. I was in the worst health. There's just like all of these things adding up, and I was so tired of it. I was so tired of living this life of like a zombie. I was not doing anything meaningful with my life, but the thing was, I was doing nothing to change it. I was complaining. I thought my life was what it was because it had to be, and you know, I thought I had to do this typical route. I grew up in a family of teachers, and we've always struggled with money, and it was just something that I thought I was going to have to do. And I was going to school for psychology. I was a psychology major, and I was going to get my master's in school counseling, and that was the plan, but I didn't want to do it. I had no desire to do it because I did not want to struggle like the way my family did my whole entire life. So I didn't know what I was going to do. And then kind of like the same time I was like totally over my life, coaching kind of found me, and I found coaching, and it completely transformed every aspect of my life. I did not think that this was what I would be doing, but as soon as I was one of those coaches that signed up the night she was told about it. Like I was an easy person to get. But I was so tired of the life I was living, and I was so ready to just work for it and have a passion for something. And I was so ready to just create a life that I actually wanted to live. And that was so, so big for me. So I worked really, really hard to get where I am. And I have gone through ups and downs. Obviously, we all do. The journey has not been perfect by any means, but it has been worth every single second of it. But I'm so, so excited to talk to you guys about how I kind of enroll my new coaches and how I kind of like get them on the right foot. First of all, I probably I was one of those, like, I guess you could say like late bloomers, at least like in my standards, because I went through 2 uplines to get to my upline that I have now. And I was not really like helped in the business, but I do not think by any means that like holds you back whatsoever, because you have the ability to go find out. You have the ability to watch YouTube videos, all the things. And I had my 2 uplines above me trainings, and I was religiously watching those, religiously just trying to participate and all of the things. Oh, also side note, if you guys have questions, I will answer them at the end, just so you know. But anyway, so I didn't really know what I was doing. Like, we all start out from ground zero, not knowing what you're doing, like 0 followers on Instagram, all of the things. And I was like literally started out from ground zero, and I did not start recruiting coaches until 7 months into my business. Like, I did not know what elite was until July of last year. And then I ended up hitting it in December. So it is so possible to do things fast, but the hardest, like the biggest thing is you have to know what they are in order to get there and to set that goal. But I'm so excited to talk about this because I absolutely love like the mindset shift that I had 7 months into my business, when I was literally going from recruiting 0 coaches to recruiting like 30 plus coaches a month. So it was a huge game changer for me. So I'm excited for you guys to share, for me to share like this process. So I'm going to be talking about social media, kind of resonating with your audience, the enrollment process. So like my call to actions, what I kind of do, and then signing up the new coaches, and then getting started right, helping your new coaches start out the right way. So my first thing that I kind of want to talk to you guys, which I'm a heavy like emphasis on social media. Social media is my jam. It's something that I used to be terrible at, but something I've learned and something I really enjoy now. So I am very heavy focused on social media. So 3 kind of things which we'll talk about in more detail are on how to like kind of not only just like grow your following, but just like grow that trust with your audience, and grow that them just to really think that you guys are best friends, and that's what you want. You want your audience, your followers to think, oh my gosh, this girl like is totally me. Like, I want to do whatever she's doing because I trust her. And that's the biggest compliment you could possibly get. So consistency obviously is key. Focus on your content and then increasing your engagement. So for be consistent, consistency is so important. I cannot even tell you. And I feel like a lot of people say they're consistent, but then they don't actually they're not really consistent whatsoever, because they think posting, maybe 3 times a week is going to cut it. And I truly think that you have to post every single day, because your audience needs to see that from you. They need to see your consistency. They need to see the journey. They need to see the process of you showing up, because the process is what sells. You showing up is what sells and is what people want to see. So consistency is it's way more important than perfection. So I think we can hold ourselves back because we don't think that this post is good enough, or our caption is good enough, or we don't have the best pictures, or whatever the case. It doesn't matter. Not every picture is going to be the best picture you've ever taken in your life, and that's okay. Not every caption you write is going to be the best caption you've ever written in your life, and that's okay, as long as you are trying and showing up. And I don't mean you can just like throw a sweaty selfie and be like, hey, like, have a good Friday, Sunday, whatever. You have to care about what you're posting about, but also don't worry about it too much. Don't think it has to be perfect, because there's a fine line between thinking that, and that may hold you back if you do. So you have to be a go-getter on social media to recruit any go-getters. You have to. That means you have to show up. That means you have to be consistent. That means you have to actually care and put effort into the post that you are posting. People are always watching you, and that's huge and something that resonated with me early on. Every single day, like if I didn't show up and like take a sweaty selfie and post it on my story, and after I did my workout, like I felt like other people would be like, oh, she didn't get her workout in today. Like, oh my gosh, she's slacking. So I like used that, and that was how I 100% know that I have seen the success I have seen on my fitness journey because I used my Instagram as a diary, as showing the process, sharing the story, sharing where I was at, even if I didn't want to work out because I was literally working out at either like 5 a.m. in the morning or 9 p.m. at night. And those aren't glamorous things, but those are relatable things. And that's what people are going to relate to. So next one is really focus on your content. So I've kind of talked about it a little bit, but you have to care. Like that's a huge thing. I think people either like run away from their social media because it's like just not their thing and they think it's not their thing. You guys, social media will never be your thing right away. It is something that you have to continuously practice. It's just like everything you do in life. If you think you're going to be perfect at social media, or anything you start right away, you're wrong. You have to practice it. You have to try. You have to show up. And if you're running away from it, then you're not even trying. You're not even putting the effort into it that it needs to be put into in order for you to get better at it. It's all about the process. It's all about showing up so you do get better. So you keep working at it. And it's always changing. And there's no one right way to do it. And that's the cool thing because you can be your own person. But you want to be creating savable content. So content worth sharing. A huge thing that helps your post do better is if they bookmark your post. So the more interactions you get within the first hour, bookmarking, comments, likes, the better your post will do. The more Instagram will show it to your friends of friends. The more your post will just do better. So it's important that you're creating content worth saving. So this, sweaty selfies, that's great, but I'm not going to save that and look at it later. So you have to create content that's valuable to people, valuable to your audience, relatable, so people want to look at it later. They want something that will maybe motivate them, inspire them, a workout, a story, like sharing your story. There's so many things you could possibly, talk about that is savable and meaningful. So you have to put the time behind it. Now, a huge thing I tell my coaches all the time is market you, not Beachbody. There's 400,000 coaches in the whole entire network. A huge thing that I think that will set you apart is if you are showing yourself, because people are going to relate to you. They're not going to relate to Beachbody. They're going to come to you because of you, not Beachbody. No one's going to come to you and be like, I want to sign up for Beachbody. They're going to come to you because they like that you like Harry Potter, or they like that you like your grandma, or they relate to you on these other levels and they know you, they like you, they trust you, and they're like, whatever it is you're doing, I'm doing it because I like you and I know that whatever you're doing, you're going to help me along that journey because you're consistently showing up and you're being you. And that's the most important thing. So market you, don't market Beachbody. I'm dying. Give value before you ask for it. So I heard this on a call from my upline like a long time ago, and it just really stuck with me because I think we have a tendency to wonder why people aren't saying yes, or wonder why people aren't even commenting or engaging with us. It's because you have to give value before you ask for it. If every time you got on Instagram and you saw a salesy post from this Instagrammer, would you want to follow them any longer? Probably not. You want to follow someone you relate to. You want to follow someone that's authentic, that inspires you. So you have to give that value before you can ask for it, especially as a new coach. You have to give that value. You have to be giving out more than what you're asking for. So I used to like give out free recipe books. I used to give out free workouts. I used to give out all of these things for free because I wanted people to know that they could trust me. And that just helped me grow. That just helped my Instagram grow because they realized I was handing, like, you know, here and there tidbits of stuff out for free, and they were telling their friends, this girl gives free recipe books, stuff like that. And they're not hard to make. Those things aren't hard. They're all given to us. But handing out that value is so important. Also, share your struggles, but always, always share your solution. So people are going to follow you most of the time because, you know, you're inspiring them, whatever the case may be, and you're sharing your struggles. You're being authentic. But if you don't have a positive end note on that struggles, people are going to not want to hear that. Like, they want to hear your solution, or they want to hear, you know, how you're going to overcome it. And they want to, you know, check back on you later on when you do overcome it. So always have a positive outlook on things. There's a very fine line between like being authentic and sharing like, oh my God, my day sucks, and being like, my day sucks, but you know, tomorrow's going to be better. Like, I know that tomorrow will be better. I'll listen to personal development and I'll do the things and I'll feel better tomorrow. Not every day is going to be the best day, but that's okay. So always end on that like solution and that positivity, because you want other people to feel what you want to feel welcoming. You want to feel like people can DM you, and that's what the vibe you want to give off. Okay, also increasing your engagement is huge. So I think a lot of people just don't think about this, but you actually have to care what your followers want to see. Like, your followers, you may be giving your followers the opposite of what they want to see. So a huge thing is asking them what they want to see. Ask if they want to see more workouts or more of your life. Whenever I do this, I'm shocked by how many people want to hear about my relationship. Like, it blows my mind, but they want to hear that because that just makes them relate to you that much more. And everyone in my audience is, you know, struggling with relationships, or anyone in the world could be struggling with relationships. So sharing that, and like me giving them, like, you know, I used to struggle with relationships, but now I'm in a really good one. That gives people hope, and that gives people just a sense of like understanding who you are as a person and just relating to you, because I don't want my audience to think my life's perfect, but I want them to know how far I've come. Also, just, this is like kind of a random tip, more than one picture. So you have to think, your picture is going to do better if it's like stayed on for longer. If someone is on Instagram and like stops their scroll because your picture. So if you have more than one picture, they're obviously going to stop their scroll for a little bit longer because they have to swipe. And that is a huge thing. I always post 2 pictures, and my second picture is never like anything special. It's literally me looking down, smiling most of the time. But that helps like, I get way more engagement on those pictures, if that makes sense. Also, story-wise, engaging with your followers by polls. And I don't mean like fitness polls. I mean like, are you a dog person or a cat person? Are you a night owl or are you a morning person? Those things are going to help you, because the people that comment on your polls, and not comment, the people that do, you know what I'm trying to say, answer your polls. There we go. Answer your polls. Answer all of those things that you have on your story. They're going to see your posts more. So that's why you want to do polls that aren't necessarily fitness related or, you know, anything like that related, because more people are going to answer that poll than like a fitness poll or, you know, like a call to action poll, and then they're going to see your post more. So always do those things, polls, questions, that little heart thing. I do those all the time, and that just gets more people engaging on my stories. Also, comment back on every single comment. So this just makes you, first of all, warm and welcoming. Like, if you go to a page and you see that they haven't commented back on a single picture, like, is that going to make you comment? No, not at all. You want other You want the person behind the screen, we want to know they exist and they're a real person and they like take the time to comment and care. Also a huge thing, like make conversations in your comments. This is the huge thing that I've been trying to do more, because that's just going to help your post do better, and that's just going to help you look like a real person and look like you actually care, because you do. Also tell your followers to do the things. So like your picture, save your picture, comment on your picture. Every time I have a workout, I always post like, don't forget to bookmark it and save it and comment on it, like tag your friend. And that just helps my posts do better, and that just helps them like show their friends more. So that's really my spiel on social media. Always have to add that in there. But it's so important. Social media is how I recruit 100% of my coaches. And I do most of my recruiting on my stories, because I have a lot of people converting from my feed to my stories. So I've worked really hard to increase my engagement and increase those things, because I know that it just makes me more relatable. So I kind of want to dive into my call to actions, and these are a little bit of my like top tips for call to actions. Like I said, I do all my call to actions on my stories, but I haven't always done that. As a new coach, you need to be doing it your stories and your feed. And I still do it on my feed, like maybe twice a month, maybe. But always make it personable. Always share your story in it. So the best call to actions, like I remember the first like couple I ever did, I like copied my upline like literally word for word, and it didn't work. It didn't work because those weren't my words. And she talks to her audience way differently than I talk to mine. So your upline will give you examples, but you should never word for word copy those examples, because those are just examples. And all audiences are different. For me, I cannot be salesy like whatsoever. First of all, it's a huge reason because I just don't like that. So like obviously my people that follow me aren't gonna like that. So I always have to share my story and share, like I have to take them back to where I was. And that's just important and something you should be doing all the time. But that just catches their eye more and relates to them more versus the person I am now. Also, breathe belief in others that they can do this too. So, great, I made it this far, but, it seems a little far-fetched for someone that's just starting. So, yeah, my story can be super inspiring, but I want other people to feel like they can do it too. I just don't want them to read my story and be like, oh, that's great, good for you. I want them to, I want to breathe belief in them. I want to make them feel like this is something that they could easily do. And then always invite to more info instead of just being like, join me, something like that. If you invite to more info, that's just like less scary. People are less scared by that. And that's just a huge thing that's going to help more people say yes. And the whole point of it is you want to just send them more info. You want them to understand like your why behind it. And you want to understand them to understand way more than what you're saying on your social media. Okay, so this is like a call to action that I did, and this is not what I do all the time. So I either have two call to actions. I can talk like just face to face on my stories and just like have a little like spiel of me sharing my story or sharing like a money win in a very like relatable, authentic way. Like I used to not be able to pay for my groceries and now I can. Something like that. I sometimes will talk about the community aspect, like any aspect of it. But this is one that always does super well for me. And it's literally just like there's more too. Stories of me sharing my story in words on graphics, and it always works super well. And I always end it with I'm either sending them like a static video, so just a video that I record. So basically what they're doing is they're going to fill out a form. I'll do the call to action, like this is exactly what's an example of one of them. At the end I'll be like, want more info, and then I'll say swipe up to for the form become a coach like me to get more info. And this form is on my link tree. You guys can go look at it after this if you need to, but it's literally just like a little questionnaire, and then I will send them a intro video, which I will get to. But I will sometimes do, like, I run sneak peeks as well. So I kind of switch off between sending them a pre-recorded video and then running sneak peeks. And this is just because I get bored easily and I want to like be exciting. And the more I'm excited about something, the more someone else is excited about it. So I either do a sneak peek or I do a pre-recorded video. I'm going to focus on a pre-recorded video because you guys probably have heard of sneak peeks like very much because it's more common. But sneak peeks are literally the same thing. Like I speak the same information as I do in a pre-recorded video. It's just obviously live. It's a little bit different. I usually do 3-day sneak peeks. So it's just a little bit different. But so this is my call to action example. Basically, they filled out my link tree. They want more information, and they know it's just like more information, no obligations, all that stuff. And then after they fill out the form, this is my process. So I send an intro video. And this is something that I started doing like 3 months ago or something. And it's worked really well because I want them to understand me before they know anything else. Because one, there's bad rep behind Beachbody sometimes because there's a lot of coaches in the network, and I don't want them to like just see Beachbody. I want them to see me, and I want them to hear my story, and I want them to hear what it took for me to get here and how it wasn't easy, but how I got here. And so it's just really describing why coaching has changed my life and really taking them back to where I started and then breathing that belief in them, saying that they can do this too. Like, I am not special whatsoever. I was living in my mom's basement. Like, I was broke, all of the things. After they reply, I always send, and these videos are pre-recorded. I just put them unlisted on YouTube. And then I just send them the link in there. I used to do Google Drive, so you can do Google Drive too, but YouTube's a little bit faster. Google Drive takes a while. After they reply, I'll send a second video. This one's about 20 minutes. My first one's like 5 minutes, a little under 5. My second one's 20 minutes. I talk about a day in the life of the coach, being products of the products, posting on social media, creating challenge groups, what they get, how to make money, and then I share my income growth. But I think the most important thing is that I'm very roughly touching on these things, but most importantly, I am like breathing this belief inside them that they can do this too, and that I don't want them to think it's easy by any means, but if they are willing to show up, if they are willing to be consistent, if they are willing to, do all of those things, and then they could do this too. And I just want them to know that we all start from ground zero. We all start with 0 followers. We all start with all of these self-doubts and these limiting beliefs, but you can overcome that. And that's a huge thing that I try to focus on, just inspiring them and making them realize that this is not something that is far-fetched, and this is something that they can do. So then they email me and they want in. I usually just like send them package details. So I always either set people up with the 160 challenge pack or the 220 deluxe pack, and then I send them a share cart, and then immediately after they get enrolled, I send them a welcome email. And this is like exactly like as soon as they email me and say that, I send them the share cart, and then I'm like, in that email, I go, this is your link to enroll, because I always do the copy shareable link. And I was like, this is your link to enroll. Once you're finished enrollment, please let me know so I can send you the welcome email. So then I send them a welcome email, which has links to my Facebook pages. So just the pages that they'll be in. And then I have a 30-minute how to launch your business training. And this is just like going over literally like the, why can't I think of them? The daily behaviors. Why can't I don't know. You guys know what I'm trying to say. But it just basically, I label it how to launch your business. And I talk about, just the basics of everything. And I try not to overwhelm them, but I also let them know that it's going to be overwhelming, but I'm going to be here for them. And that's a huge thing, because when I was signing up coaches in the very beginning, I was getting a lot that were quitting and like being overwhelmed. And I had to try to combat that. And a huge reason I think that has helped is because I do send them this video right away. So it has like everything they need to know. I tell them that they should probably be taking notes, but they will have this video forever. And I also just am like, you're going to be overwhelmed, but it's okay. Like I'm right here. So after they are finished, I always have them message me on Facebook. Facebook is where I talk to all of my coaches. So it just helps me, kind of like all my things I do on Facebook is through coaches aspects of things. So after they message me on Facebook, I help them choose a program. So this is something I do talk about in my welcome video, like what Beachbody On Demand is and all this stuff. I walk them through it. But together I just suggest some programs that I really like. And I'm like, okay, now you go choose. And I think it's super important because you are going to get your best coaches are the ones that are most committed to their fitness journey. They're not going to be perfect, but there's a high correlation between your fitness journey and your coaching business. So and that's a huge way you can check yourself. If you are struggling with your fitness journey, if you're like off track, high chance that your business is going to be off track. They kind of have to coincide with each other because there's so many reasons why. I also help with creating their first post. So I know from a new coach's perspective, I remember the first time I posted and I was so scared. So I give them just some suggestions. I make sure that they talk about more about themselves and how it's more about how they just want to hold themselves accountable on this account and hopefully inspire others along the way, and how they're just getting more serious into their fitness journey. So it's not like this salesy post right away, I'm starting Beachbody and this is my journey. And just get them from the start in that sharing story process, which is huge. You always want to just be sharing the process, sharing the story. Then after that, usually I do voice message my coaches too. So I think that just helps makes things more personal. Voice messages are just way easier too. So even if you're not good at them, it's also like a practice makes perfect thing. You're going to get better, and you can't really say the wrong thing. They're nervous too. So next I add them to a 7-day training plus a group chat. So I started doing these group chats probably during the summer, and I have absolutely loved them because I think you do have to be careful. You have to make sure you're in there, make sure there's positive energy, and I make sure in my first message that I send them that I want it to be very positive, a no complaining zone, you know what I'm saying? But basically I think that it helps to be surrounded by other new coaches because personally, I think your personally sponsored coach page or just any Facebook page can be a little overwhelming, and this kind of helps them realize that there's 5 other people in this with them, so they're not alone whatsoever, and there's a difference between me versus them, so they feel a little more of a community aspect of things. And I'm just in there every single day. I am not overwhelming, but I'm just very letting them know that I'm here for them. And if they need me, I'm here. I'm literally a question away. I tell them that if they are not comfortable with asking a question in the group chat, they are more than happy, more to message me. So they know that they can message me personally, but I'd rather them ask it in the group chat just because everyone else is probably wondering the same thing. So group chats are awesome. I think they've just really helped my new coaches bond more, and usually I get rid of them after 30 days, but sometimes I have some going on for 2 months just because some of my group chats still talk, and they really do talk to each other all the time and have little Zoom dates. So I just let them be, but I'm not in there. And a huge reason why I started doing group chats was because it stopped making me do as much work, because I will have some little rock stars in there that just answer the questions for me. And I'm just yes, I love you. But I add them to the 7-day training too, which this is a training created by me and then 3 other leaders on my team. So I like letting them have different perspectives because there's obviously all different perspectives. And I just like them seeing not just me. So I don't know, I just like that. But in the 7-day training, what we're talking about is sharing your story, how to share your story, what your story even is, what your why is, just all of the things behind that. And then Success Club, why it's important, what it is, social media, like just my spiel on social media, and the importance of consistency, inviting and how there's no one way to do it. You kind of have to be invited the way you want to be invited, and obviously giving them some tips and like techniques on inviting, and then creating challenge groups, and then the power of video. So video is hard, it's scary, but I think it's a game changer for a lot of people in their businesses. I know when I first started, like even sending videos for when they're interested in challenge groups, I'll send a 5-minute video and of more information versus like an email or anything like that. And that has been such a game changer because they get to know who I am. Video is so important, and we like to tell them that it's important, but it's also okay if you suck at it at first, because we all suck at it at first. So it's just kind of the practice as you go kind of thing.
What?
And then, also,
Fine.
almost done.
I'm gonna get gas anyway, so.
I gotta turn stuff off.
Here, I'll wait till you. Mm-hmm. Okay, good. And then the last one is always talking about Emerald and Beyond. So we like start talking about ranks on the last video, and yeah. And then, okay, so my final kind of tips I have for you guys are never stop learning and trying new things. And that literally goes with everything. So be aware what's working, what's not working. So for example, I was doing sneak peeks for the longest time, and then they stopped working because I wasn't excited about them, and neither were the people that were in them were excited about them. So you have to, you know, switch it up, just be excited about it, even if it's like the difference between a 1-day sneak peek and a 3-day one. Or I used to just do 1 video for my pre-recorded video, and now I do 2. So always mixing it up, kind of seeing what's working. But the best thing, if you're excited about it, they're going to be excited about it. Create those personal relationships so they feel like they know you, they trust you, they like you. That's on your social media, but that's also your coaches too. Like if you, like your coaches, obviously there's that boundary, like you're not going to answer, like I don't usually answer past like 5, but my coaches know that I will never not answer them, and I will always be there for them. And that's a huge thing that has helped them kind of help each other more so, and also just kind of want to know things on their own and be resourceful, which I preach a lot to them, but also they know that if they really can't find the answer to something, that I will eventually get to them. And then my last one is not every week is going to be a good week. Not every month is going to be a good month, but it's all about pushing through. I would remember, you know, like when I was not recruiting any coaches, I truly believed that I could not hit Success Club with just recruiting coaches. So I was really heavily client focused. And then there was just this switch in my mentality where I'm like, you know, coaches, like if I want this to be a business and if I want this to be a full-time income, coaches are where it's at. That's where you get the residual income. That's how you grow your team. And I don't want to be alone at all in this business. So I want to have that team. That's something that I craved for so long. And so you just have to realize it's just like anything in life. Your job is not going to be perfect. There's going to be hard times. There's going to be trialing times, but it's just all about showing up. It's all about being consistent. And all of those bad months are just going to be better months the next time around. And we all have bad days on social media. We all have bad days on just like everything in life. And it's sometimes very easy to let those like limiting beliefs overcome you. But my biggest advice is to just work through them, like turn on some personal development, do what you have to do, and just, you know, get through them, because you are a leader. You could potentially be a very amazing leader, and you could influence so many people. So you have to think of that every time you're struggling, that you have the ability to help someone who's struggling the same way as you. So you have to continue to show up. You have to continue to show up for your coaches, and you have to continue to keep growing as a leader and growing as a person. That's all I have for you. I will stop.
So freaking good, my friend. I knew you were gonna just drop freaking mics everywhere. I have so many notes. I'm sure they have so many notes. But I just wanted you guys to take this thing home. And if you guys have questions, we probably have time for like 2, maybe 3 tops. Drop them in the chat, and I'll kind of figure out which ones are going to be best for her. But I want you to take this whole thing and implement something tonight, because I feel like you can sit and you can say, this was so amazing, this is so inspiring, but if you don't implement something, then Kelsey just came on here and inspired you for nothing. And, you know, really action is everything in this business. And I know you guys know this, but I need to have you as a friendly reminder is you can get inspired all day long from personal development, from team calls, but if you stop yourself, the first no, the first message, the first family member that tells you that you're in a pyramid scheme, you're not going to be doing the things that you want. And you have to continually remind yourself of that, especially in this business where we are always, always, always in the face of people. And you're going to have bad days, and you're going to have bad messages, and you're going to have days where you go through a sheet of paper and every single person didn't answer you back. That's going to happen, but it's the days that you show up and you do the things that are going to push you through to where you want to be. So Carolyn asked, money objection, since you have a lot of younger followers, you know, showing products and showing things, what is your combating with that?
Okay, so you guys, I started as a coach. I had $180 in my bank account. And I lived off of the $12 with tax. I lived off the $12 for a week. And when my coach told me that it was $160, I go, that's it. Because I knew it was a business investment. I knew that you guys, it just kind of goes back on you, and showing up consistently online and on social media and proving to them that it's worth every single penny. And at first, yes, you're gonna get a lot of money objections and price objections, but the more value that you give, the more they're gonna go away. So my biggest advice would to bring more value to the table, and show them the workouts, show them foods, show them what it is that we have to offer, because in reality, it is such a low price. It's ridiculous. I was paying $50 a month for a gym membership I didn't even go to. So the price is ridiculously inexpensive, and you have to show others that just how inexpensive it is. That'd be my advice for that.
I love that too, because $160 is about Planet Fitness, which I've never heard anybody say Planet Fitness is expensive. Yeah. And then 2 more here, guys, and then we're going to let her go. So what's a good way to gain new followers? Is it hashtags, going and following people, using Captivate? What would you say for that?
Okay, so I think that the biggest thing is consistency. Everything that I talked about. So consistency, focusing on your content, so creating shareable content, and then also engaging with your followers, actually caring about what it is that they want. But I would also say that using new hashtags is going to be a great way people are going to find you, but they need to be very you oriented. So they can't be hashtag Beachbody. They need to be hashtag Potterhead, something that really relates to you. Also, I think the biggest thing when it comes to building your social media is it takes hard work. It's not going to happen overnight whatsoever, but you never know when you're going to have a great post that blows up. And that's really what happens. It's not it's going to go viral or something, but it's going to do better than the others. And that's because of consistency. But also a huge thing that I love doing is I love going to other influencers under 100K, aren't Beachbody. I love going through the comments, liking other people's comments, and going and engaging on those girls who are commenting on that picture, if that makes sense. And then just engaging with them. So it's but I'm not unfollowing or following them. I'm just sincerely commenting on them. So commenting on their page. So I'm not saying oh my gosh, your shirt's amazing. I'm genuinely, they probably have these are people that have good captions, they're fitness accounts that are smaller and they have more inspiring content. And you're going to find that more if you go to an influencer and those comments, if you go to that person's page, most of the time they're like smaller fitness accounts that are or just smaller accounts that actually have valuable content that you're able to engage with and that you like. That makes sense.
I love it. Love it, love it, love it. And honestly, guys, you're going to hear so many Instagram things like try not to spend so much time looking for the perfect hashtag, the perfect location, the perfect preset, because you can be successful any way you want. You just have to go out there and consistently do it. And that, you know, goes for anything in this business. You work hard, you're going to get there. And if you spend too much time focusing on the negativity, the filters, the Instagram blogs, the this, the that, you're going to just waste that time doing other things. So I'm going to close this out. I know Homegirl wants to go watch Game of Thrones, and so do I, and so do a lot of you guys. Thank you so much, Kelsey. You're freaking amazing. Again, you guys, go follow her on Instagram. Show her some love. Her brand is freaking adorable. But have a great Sunday night, and we will see you tomorrow for the Team Fight to Finish call.
Thank you, guys.